Hello, and welcome to the Universes Academy podcast. I am your host, Matt Childress. With me today, of course, is Mr. Chris Smith. And then we got two very special guests, friends of the pod, Mr. Keenan Meadows and Mr. Tim Keefe. Welcome, fellas. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, all right. It is almost Friday.
Right, almost the end of that work week. Woo woo. Gonna play some cards this weekend?
Maybe
start vacation after tomorrow.
Yeah,
so.
Nice.
Nice.
Very excited. Very excited. So.
Yeah, we got a store championship this weekend that I got to run. So here's to hoping we have a pretty good turnout for that. So I'm excited for the weekend myself as well. But before we get to the weekend, we got to catch up on some news and some previews. You know, news and previews. So this week, Jasco made a few announcements. One of which is some alt art promo cards, and you acquire them in a pretty unique way, something that we haven't done before, which is by buying designer T-shirts.
Yep. It's funny because I'm gonna start off with Tim's awesome comment is that we got more alt art characters via buying a T-shirt than Jasco's given us pretty much all year. So yeah. But yeah, that's the best comment of the day when I saw it. But we don't know the price point because I think they go on sale tomorrow.
I believe you're correct. They go on sale on Friday, the same day that the class reunion kits release.
Yeah. So because we did some digging into the Stevie Aoki, I think is his name, the website. Like your average shirt's like $30 to $40. So you're looking at buying a $30 to $40 promo and getting a designer shirt with it.
And even
like
further,
the board game.
It's like the board game, except you can wear it, and it's a random promo, unlike the board game where you were guaranteed to get that Deku. It's either the new Midoriya, so Midoriya 4, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's Midoriya 4.
Bakugo 1, or All Might 2.
Correct.
So you could have a Midoriya 4 before Undaunted Raid comes out, maybe, right?
Yeah, I guess so, depending on when they ship you your shirt, right? And if you get lucky in your pack.
It's really weird because they also mentioned Toga, Shigaraki, and Dabi in there too.
Yeah, there's gonna be T-shirts for them.
Okay,
but no promo.
Not the fact that matters.
Yeah, they're gonna have more than just the T-shirts that they showed.
Okay.
They're only doing the 3 promos.
Then.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. Okay, that. I mean, man, if it was like $25, I probably would spring on a shirt because, you know, the shirts aren't that bad looking. They're pretty cool. But man, after pre-ordering and buying the class reunion kits where it does not feel that great, I don't want to spend $40.
We're not too hungry to spend money on all that right now. When we're
not right now. I'd rather get
their money for mech uniques.
Yeah. Like the Deku art's pretty cool because it's newer, but it's kind of similar to his ROE art. But come on, man, Super Saiyan 4 with Eri on top of Super Saiyan Blue with the little kid on the back. You can't beat. The XR is going to be amazing.
That was kind of my one complaint with them, and I kind of already voiced this to you guys previously, but is that the art for Bakugo and for All Might is art they've already used on alternate art attacks from RLEs last year.
And I think that's okay to do if you've got if it looks good enough. But my problem with the All Might is that the blue on his uniform is the same blue in the background, and it just kind of looks like this. Just a sea of blue punching into nothing. And I feel like they could have had they could have used a different blue or some sort of other color to kind of counteract it. But I get they're trying to match the shirt, right? So,
yeah, for sure.
And people want that art on the shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care too much about what the promos are, what they look like, or even it's a net positive to get the game out in front of a bunch of people who never heard of it before, just they followed this DJ or whatever. And it's a marketing win. It's unfortunate that we're over here pining why aren't there alt art we didn't get participation characters for these season 1 RLEs. They aren't doing characters as prize support, which they presumably should be. Right? That seems like an obvious thing to do. So it is. It's unfortunate that it adds this little feels bad of we can do alt art characters for marketing promotions, but we're struggling to find prize support that people find appealing, and we just won't do characters for some reason.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not a a feels great moment when you're like, hey, I'm going to go buy this other product that you're moving just because I want this alt art character. Like, sure, that's a testament to how badly people want alt art characters, right? Like hands down, I described it before when I bought the board game. I paid $30 for a promo, and then I got a free board game with it, you know? And I feel like that's the way this shirt would be, right? Like, I'd pay $30 or $40 for this promo character, and then I'd get a free shirt with it. And that's just me, because I don't value the other things as much as I value that alt art character. And like, I guess what I'm hoping happens, and we'll have to wait and see how many of these get into circulation, how people are trying to flip them and all. But in theory, these promos should be $30 to $40, and like they should be close to the price tag of the shirt, right? Like you would think. You don't think so?
They've done this for a bunch of games.
Oh, have they? Okay.
In other games, they land at like $5 to $10.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, like they've done this for Dragon Ball Super.
Really?
Steve Aoki's done this for a bunch of games.
Yeah, I would think the limited supply.
The number of people buying the T-shirts who don't play the card game and just
they're just like, hey, let's sell this on eBay for $5. I'll get $5 off this and make some of my T-shirt money.
I'll be watching my eBay.
About to say, go keep my eyes peeled.
Yeah,
because that Midoriya does look really cool.
That's kind of the same vein as the class reunion boxes that come out on Friday as of recording, because there's some cards in there that are pretty good that you expect to be in that $20 to $30 range, maybe. But there's a lot of $5 and under cards. Like, I think people are going to, because the people who want their play sets are going to buy the multiples, are going to sell their extras to recoup losses. But I think, as always, TCG player is going to win for the player, and the race to the bottom will begin eventually. And I think they'll probably end up settling into that $5 to $15, $20 range at the end. But that's here nor there. So,
even if they're $5
if you're a single
each
seller, and let's say at the end of the day, maybe only 3 of the 10 promos sell, and they sell for an average of. If 3 of the 10 promos are cards that you can sell, and you get an average of $10 from them, then it starts being worth it to open.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's maybe not quite worth it. Like, if you're paying, I don't know how much wholesale on the small boxes is.
I think it's supposed to be like 25, like MSRP, right? So like if
so you need to it's going to balance out at a point where secondary sellers feel okay opening the product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and if it crashes in under that because players are opening the product and just selling it, then it's going to be a weird short supply situation.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if on average you're getting $5 per promo, it seems worth it, because if you value the booster packs at $1 each, even, then you're basically breaking even on the $25 one, right, before tax, and because you're getting 4 promos, they're $5 each, and then you get a Future Is Now, what you call that, $5, which it probably won't be.
But it's $5 if you sell it.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So I'm saying,
like, zero.
if it's secondary market value, and you're trying to justify well, am I going to lose money if I buy and crack one of these? Probably not. But you may not also make money off of it either, or it may not feel good.
I bet you could probably sell the dice and the tokens for more than half. There's going to be people who are going to want the dice and tokens that don't want to buy multiples, that may end up buying them at an exorbitant amount, maybe.
I'm not going to do the later part of that, but I definitely want some more of those dice.
Definitely buy the extras.
Yeah, you might have vendors at events.
Yeah,
breaking the boxes up, and
Yeah. I mean, I want to go to Gen Con, and how the random stores will have the dice jars, and I want to find some of these in the dice jar and be like, jackpot, and just pull them all out. They're like, those dice don't sell for anything.
Into the dice jar so that people can find them and go what the heck is
this?
Yeah.
Well, and also for those who are hoping that Best Buy would have them for cheaper, they don't. They're exactly the same amount. They're $54.99. You just get free shipping with it. So I've been watching. I know they had a starter deck sale where the
$54.99.
Yeah, that's how much it is on.
That's the MSRP for the big one.
And they were undercutting some other products, so probably what it's going to go for.
Yeah, I know that the All Might and the All for One decks were on sale for $17.50 last week. They were clearing some stuff out, so I mean,
on Best Buy.
On BestBuy.com. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Booster packs for $3. Yeah, that's the blister packs for
I've heard that Best Buy might have an MO where they'll get the card stuff in, and they'll charge MSRP for a month or 2 months or however long, and then
they'll try to move it out. Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone else go and buy yours now. Leave the rest for me later.
Yeah, exactly.
And support your local game stores.
Yeah,
but support your LGSs right now.
The class reunion thing, I think if you split it with another person, it may be okay. Like, it may not be as big if it feels bad. I don't know.
Unless you both want the same cards, and then you're just like, all right, well, we were friends, but now we're not.
Yeah, it's just the same shared collection metrics. You feel a little bit better buying 4 big boxes.
Yeah. Like I had a guy who pre-ordered 2 of the big boxes, and I'm just like, oh, that's a lot.
Do you get more promos for the big boxes, or
you get 6.
More?
2 more promos.
2 more, and you get 4 more packs.
And you get sleeves and other stuff.
The packs are worth, like, I feel like very little unless you're pulling vial seasons out of them.
I describe pack value at 0 normally. Like, that's why, like, when you tell me even at a tournament, like, and you're gonna get more booster packs, I was like, no one cares. We already have all the cards, so we're here playing. Like
playmats, like that's the one thing. I know we're getting off on a tangent, but like the playmats, you could do away with the playmats, man.
Chris, it's not us. It's just you. You're getting off on the tangent right now.
It's tough, right? There's people that are like, I have 7,000 playmats already, but there are people that are really excited about the playmats.
Barrett doesn't bring playmats with him to tournaments ever, just so that
that's because he wins them at the end of the event. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
So he wins them at least a starter playmat, so that he doesn't play on the table.
Yeah. The playmats are not going to, trouble the people that don't want playmats. More than not having playmats would bother the people that really want to get playmats.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fair.
So, pivoting to the other Jessica news this week, which would be they announced that they're going to have like an online demo day, which is kind of a cool idea. So if you haven't heard about it yet,
When is it again?
Oh, that's what I was about to share. So it's on June 10th. That's a Saturday.
Because Matt's looked up the info already.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry.
Swinging from the hit. You're the best, man.
And it's at 2 p.m. That's Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, that's going to be like 5 p.m. And it's on Twitch. And it's on their official Twitch channel. And you can come and learn how to play the game, which if you're listening to this, you probably already know how to play the game. But spread the word. Like demo days are this weird thing. Like, and like, truth confession here, I kind of hate doing demo days because I end up sitting there at the store for hours and hours, and I'll demo to like 2 people, and everyone else just wants to look at the cards and they walk away, or we demo and make it through a game and then they walk away and I never see them again. And like that's just my own personal gripe. Maybe I suck at demos and that's what's actually going on here. But
I suck at demos too, and I have the exact same experience.
Okay.
We've been waiting for too long for it to be that rough.
Yeah, like, and it just feels like a waste of a day for my personal time, and like, I value my time. So this idea of like Jazzco doing that, like they do this like monthly or something that you can point to people, not just a one-time isolated event. I think this could be a really good tool. Hopefully, depending on, I have no clue how this is going to work, but hopefully it could be a really good tool then to just get in front of people, let them tune in, ask some questions, get some answers kind of thing, right?
It's got big webinar energy. And
what would be really... You want to be kind of neat is if like it was like a scripted demo, but like they've announced this so far in advance. Like you can mail order for a demo deck, and the demo deck is actually like a scripted demo deck where you're like, these cards are in this order, and they can walk you through it, like kind of like that.
Oh, that's not happening. I don't think that's definitely not happening.
That would be really neat, though.
Well, hopefully. The way they do this in such a way that they can carve out a certain portion of the Twitch stream and make that their YouTube go-to learn to play video.
Oh, make like a
so that they're not sending people to Tolarian, right?
I mean, Tolarian has one of the best.
I tell you, it's good.
Ever seen? Like,
it's a weird look.
A depth that it's like this is what a beginner who has to come to their locals and they want to feel like they know what's going on even though they've never played a game before. He gives you so much good information and he breaks it down in a format that is so digestible. Like, I don't know how you do better than that, but I do appreciate the forum where people get to ask questions, and it's like unlike that video, it's like, oh well, this mechanically makes sense, and maybe they went out and bought something. They went to like Barnes and Noble or whatever and picked up a starter deck, and then they're like, leafing through it, playing along at home, or just watching it. And they could be like, wait, but this doesn't really make sense to me. How does that work? So it's like being able to respond to it in real time. So it's kind of, I feel like it bridges the gap between a really good demo option and then a, hey, like this is also a learning opportunity along with being a video. So
right. Yeah, I mean, like, so I agree. Like, I watched this video, it's good, but I am gonna just go ahead and say, shots fired, guys, and I'm taking it because I think my demo is better just going to say. Mine is an entire...
I got to go back and watch your demo, but like, this dude revolutionized the way that like a demo can be shown for this game.
Dude, mine is 5 lessons. All right, 5 lessons. Breaks it down. Card types, parts of a card, sequencing of a turn, type abilities, and attacking and keywords. Right.
How long are each of your videos?
On average, they're like 5-ish minutes or so.
Okay, cool.
I want to say I don't think there's any that are longer than 5. There might be one. Because one of them gets pretty heavy as far as content. But to go along with those, they are on YouTube and you can just watch them as a playlist. But there's also a Google Classroom that goes along with it that has quizzes with images that test your knowledge as you go and gives you instant feedback. Because
Matt is the infinite teacher as always.
Because your boy's a teacher. So while I understand what you're saying, and I'm going to let you finish, I'm just going
to... I didn't take the course, okay? Like, I got the Tolarian, I took the Tolarian Community College course. That was nice, but there was no hands-on activity I got. I will go in with a more open mind, paying more attention to the resources that our teacher has granted.
If you want to come to the academy, you know, that's where we're here. We're here to educate and teach.
I just think, it'd be nice to be pointing to your own, your own official thing, right? For the same reasons they talked about, and I have no idea what the status of this project is, but they'd really like to have their own version of UVS Ultra, right?
Yeah,
sure.
But they're
it was supposed to be out like after Nats last year, and I guess it got.
Didn't they talk about it on the roadmap they were working?
Yeah, they talk about how it's going to integrate into UGN or something, right? Or like this and another. And it's like going to help with your deck list and all stuff.
Has anyone else noted that UGN's broken right now because it doesn't show any events that you're registered for?
I'm not going to investigate that live right now. But
if you go to my events and you look, like I'm registered for this weekend, for the RLE next weekend, and for the webcam RLE, and then 3 more events after that, plus my weeklies because I pre-register all the time, so I don't have to mess with any of that stuff.
God, man.
Since May 6th, it has not shown an event at all, and I've put a ticket in, and obviously, whatever. It happens. It's kind of like the secondary of the website where, at least the website's getting play now,
Website's great, but all these articles that are coming out is awesome.
Yeah, they're posting articles on the website, which is very good. I'm sure they know that they would like a different website, right, that has a learn to play on the homepage and things like that. But
they could just go ahead and bite the bullet and officially endorse the academy. I'm just saying, we got them covered. We got a character card section that breaks down all the characters with their support.
We also got a Chrome tracker.
Have a Chrome Rare tracker.
Looking for a Chrome tracker the other day.
And I'm just saying, we kind of got all the things that you need. We got organized play sections.
Talk about sounds like Matt's just puffing himself up.
But but real quick, because I'm one of the ignorant Matts. What is your website?
It's universusacademy.org.
Universus Academy. You got a .org on this one?
Yeah, dude, because we're an organization.
Wow.
Yeah, it's official. We pay for that domain name. It's legit.
Academy. What are you doing? Gen Ed department. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's themed around the content.
You guys fully went all in on like the one thing that you missed that colleges do is that all of their menu drop downs are like this long and you can't make sense of any of it. But otherwise, this is like a college website. Yeah,
so if you go to Gen Ed and you go to course catalog, that's where I was reading off the list earlier of what all's in the intro to UFS or Universes. Yeah, because you see, you click, it's a drop down and it tells you all the different lessons and the themes of them.
All right, this is really cool. You should absolutely like post. You probably do already post this in every like comment, like the bottom part of every YouTube channel. But this is great, and genuinely never been to your guys' website, and I'm in your Discord, so that's.
It's because we love you, Keenan, and also thank you. I'm glad that you now frequent the website. You're all of 5 people. 4 of them are in this conversation.
Amazing. Well, for all of you at home, as somebody along with you, head over to universusacademy.org and see what you can learn.
Yeah, it has links to all of our other socials as well.
Okay.
And if you go to the Heroes department, Keenan, you can see all of the characters.
I'm literally doing this live I'm clicking it as you're saying the thing.
Yeah,
so
and then
I'm getting like a full video.
Keenan, you want to hear some super secret tech about the web design here?
Oh my
management.
All the UA students are in order, accurate with the manga for their placement in the class.
God, you nerd!
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can I just disconnect from the call right now? I know it's going to mess up the recording.
All right. So with all that being said, it's a great segue into what we're going to talk about next, which is all the new character cards, which will be added to our website shortly. I've got some of them on there, but not all of them yet. So here's what we're going to do for talking about the new character cards from set 5. I'm going to just throw out one of the characters that we have not talked about yet on the podcast. And if you have any thoughts, if you like, don't like, are intrigued by, whatever, just share with us maybe some cards, some thoughts there. And we'll just kind of work our way through the characters and kind of go from there. So yeah, no worries. And it's okay if someone likes something that you don't like. I probably like lots of things you guys don't like.
Before you say the first character,
Yeah.
can I just come out and say that there's probably good odds that Midoriya Force first because he's your boy?
I was actually just going to go in alphabetical order.
Oh, okay, there we go. That works then.
Yeah.
So he's second then. Okay.
Not quite. Well, all right. So I didn't put Izuku. I put Midoriya. So it's already messed up. Yeah.
Fair.
Because I'm lazy. All right. So Chronostasis is the first one. Chronostasis has 3 cards: character, attack, foundation. What are our thoughts here? Y'all want me to read the character for everybody? Ooh, that's not good. You're good. Y'all know what he does?
I'm not gonna do this live.
I know what he does. If you're gonna
we
put him
can
on the
talk
screen or
about.
anything.
I mean, I got UVS pulled up, so I'm good. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Everyone can see him. Awesome. So what are y'all's thoughts?
Trusted Assistant is a lot. I guess it's a 4-check.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of snipes in this set.
Yeah.
There's a lot of snipes in this set.
That's like Tim's favorite thing, and he's actually saying there's too many.
Yeah, I think they are strategically valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree.
Tuned correctly, I think they're a healthy thing for a format to have. There's not like a visceral like, oh, I'm just a big fan, I want to play all of these. I just want to play a deck that doesn't have any of them.
Yeah, exactly. No, I no.
Yeah, I think it's a cool foundation. I mean, like you said, it's a 1/4, right? And it flips. It's a one-time use kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it is always online with the gang. I can't think of their name right. The Shikai?
Yeah, the mobster people. That's all we're
The Hasakai. There you go. Yeah.
So just to turn this into what I want it to be is the Rappa Fest. So with this, you get to play Rappa, and you get to play it when you go, hey, look, I use my R, I get to use my attack again, I get to go target snipe something, and then blow this thing up for my next attack because I get +2 to my check because, yeah, I'm cool. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's my goal, is to turn everything focused on the boy, on the national treasure.
What do y'all think about the character? You think the character's going to be neat? Cool?
He's cool. I don't know if he's like amazing. I don't know that we have a ton of breaker and tech attacks for him to take advantage of right now. Definitely one of those characters that's going to get better as more cards come out. But as far as his theme, I think that Jessica did a really good job on like, how do you make a time stop or time slow down mechanic work really well? You throw a crap ton of progressive in their face, and then he's got this neat like. I think the progressive is kind of the card sticks and card pool. That is the chronostasis kind of ability, and then the other effect is just sort of what is the best thing we can add to this, which is okay. Well, it's stuck in your card pool, so you might as well play it.
Well, how does he actually fight? Gun. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that doesn't really help us. So.
Yeah. The. We'll call guns technology. It's fine.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
And we're gonna be here. Chris is gonna be talking up Rappa all day.
Yeah, sure.
Who gets to replay an attack?
Yeah.
And Chris doesn't even need to land.
No,
Right.
that's actually really cool. It just needs to be in there. Yeah, that's really neat. I do like how he just craps on all those attacks that are just like, hey, I get to do cool stuff in your momentum. He gets like, hey, it doesn't leave. That's
Chaco One never wants to see this character.
Yeah, anybody who plays Jolt never wants to see this character either. It's like.
That's actually really cool. I hadn't stopped to think about that aspect of him, but like,
that's pretty fun.
Yeah, his momentum denial game is actually pretty cool. Even further, he can actively use this to just deny the momentum, right? Like he's like, oh, I don't have that block zone. Sure, I'm just going to use this to stick that one in your card pool. I'm going to eat the attack. Now you don't get the momentum, and that's stuck in your card pool going into my turn. Like that's actually really cool.
So with Sun Eater versus Sun Eater static versus Chronostasis. So he chooses, they can't leave the card pool. Okay, cool. So yeah, it fully stops Sun Eater from being able to add a specific card. That's neat.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Yeah. What about the attack? Anyone in love with the attack? Not in love with it? What we thinking here?
Point blank shot, right?
Point blank shot. Cow.
I mean, this printed block mod of 3 or greater, we've seen it before, and it's not been that good.
It didn't matter much when it's 2 speed.
Once you see it flip as a check, you just sort of leverage for it for the rest of the game if you think that it's really important to stop. What is this move? Like 4 damage, 5 damage? Like, yeah.
I like this in Evil Endeavor.
Endeavor
for the same reasons we like Faith Shield and Earth Endeavor, right?
Oh, sure.
You can pass the block, and now you have because you don't spam speed hate. But you can speed hate the one thing, put this thing in the pool,
and then it gets
to the rest.
And now you're
that's true.
That's pretty good. -2 speed, and then if you on offense you play it with Tongue Whip, and it's +2 speed on top of Endeavor's speed. So Endeavor is putting the number 4 on the inverse, or the makes it big or makes it small depending on how he uses the card. So that's pretty cool.
Man, if you ever double block with these in a turn, whoo, -4 speed to all their attacks.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty all right.
Oh, was it Mr. Compressed doesn't have? Does he have any of these symbols?
Yeah, he's got evil.
He's evil, so he can Mr. Compressed can probably get some use out of this.
Well, he blocks it and he wants to put it as momentum, or does he?
He doesn't want it to sit in his pool.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
But like, it does have Breaker 1. Like, the speed is nothing to be excited about, but like, as far as it's a cool utility piece, right? It's not going to be anything that's going to like end lives unless your opponent fully overextends. But as far as like, it's one of the better defensive attacks in the game. Off of all in evil, maybe it's competing for space with Neck on Surprise, and then would you rather have a breaker card over a stun card? But yeah, like it's definitely interesting.
I do think it's funny that you refer to it as it's not ending any lives, and the card's called Point Blank Shot.
Well, I mean, it is powerful too, and a thing that will sometimes make it actually unblockable if you're leaning it, but you have to lean into it a lot. But like, you put it in your deck, it's going to do some good things for you, right?
It's a 4 diff. Like that's the thing, the strong thing going for it here, right? Like, it doesn't have to. You don't have to lead with it. You might be able to play it towards the end of a chain, and then it messes up their math, right? For the speed of it. Like you play it second or third attack, and then you keep going. I don't know. I think it could be cool.
It does give Mei Hatsume like another tech type card that does things like off of 2 symbols. I'm not saying it's like she's gonna like main 4 of them, but it gives her like another option.
Mei's happy to play a bunch of utility attacks because she makes all of her attacks finishes just by.
It is 3 speed high, right? It gives itself +1 speed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's 3 effective. Yeah, for sure.
And it's only on a 4 difficulty attack too, so it's not that it's.
Yeah, you just lob it, and you're kind of happy with it.
Like, have fun.
It's
bang bang. What's going to happen next?
Yeah.
Playing Russian roulette, basically. You're just like, we don't know how to get in here.
I have no idea what's going on here.
We getting some momentum. We not getting some momentum. All right. So next character is Fat Gum. So Fat Gum is a pro hero, so we already know he's gonna be super cool, right?
Yeah.
How about a 9-hander when he's killing you? Like. Yeah,
that's like his mechanics kind of neat. I like it.
Yeah.
My only thing is, man, it's like that first form, like changing into Fat Gum 2 is kind of awesome. Have we had a thing like that in universes in the past, other than Omniel?
It's like Taisei adjacent, but like in a very different way.
Adjacent. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so
if it's much more offensive. Like so far, I feel like a lot of the ones that have done a lot of transforming gimmicks have been like you have to set it up, but you can do it maybe on your opponent's turn to like get some defense off. But like Fat Gum is purely like, hey, we're going full aggro. We're changing out of the suit, and we're taking off the gloves, and we're just going all in. So
it becomes the spear, not the shield.
Exactly. Yeah. I think he's got a really interesting way that he's playing it in a different way than we've seen it previously.
I think that the design is really cool because that's a cool moment. Like, because that moment when he transforms, like until that point in the anime or the manga, you didn't know that he was actually just storing up all that stuff, right? Like, and then he like burns it off. You're like, wait, what's happening? So that's really cool. And I feel like that's captured here with this ability. That first form. If they're in deadlock or you have 10 or less health, to search all game zones for Fat Gum 2 and just replace your starting character with Fat Gum 2. And I think that's really cool thematically. To Keenan's point, on that turn, you're going to be, an 8-hander? Because he's a 5-hander by starting, and then you draw 3 with Fat Gum 2.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
he's an 8-hander.
But that being said, you're still an 8-hander for a turn.
You're an 8-hander who has discard 1 card, flip and commit Arrival Foundation twice. Yeah. So he's got like double seizing the advantage without having to put a card in his card pool and do a bunch of passing checks. And
right.
I am happy to remove all of my committed foundations to make sure that you're dead that turn.
He also has good on him, so if you got those, one with nature's in play, he's pitching, sniping, and adding damage.
What's kind of cool is that if he gets removed somehow, you get to get it from your removed from game pile.
Yeah, he searches all game zones.
That's really cool. So it's always gonna fire, no matter what. It's always gonna fire off, unless they one shot you from 11, I guess.
So
it's possible.
Yeah, so it's interesting that we have this character that it is a character that expressly wants to play defense in the early game, right? You're not going to see any fat gums trying to turn 2 people out of their 5-hand size mode, presumably, right? Yeah. But they've done this in a way where, and this is allowed, and I hope we see more of this. You can make a character that wants to play defense that isn't loaded to the gills with like, oh, here's -2 speed and everything. Oh, here's this character that's going to net -4 damage every single one of your moves because of how Recovery Girl works. And
I guess go find the best defensive card in the top 4 cards of his deck and build it.
Right.
That's what's cool. That's super cool.
It's really neat. It's such a cool gimmick. And I mean, they gave him 6-hand size life, and they gave him they kind of made him a 6-hand size.
I like the fact that he can also build assets. So you can also play like cheeky one of assets and just be like, oh, if I get it, I get it. Like it's
Young Heroes.
Neat, like that's a good one.
There's another snipe and a damage reset to help him stay alive longer. Like
There's some really neat stuff he can do.
The thing that I was glad to see is that his enhance remove when he's Fat Gum 2 doesn't just add damage. Like it kind of shows that he shed that weight and he's getting a little bit faster as well. Because like it'd be real frustrating if you're sitting here and you're like, oh, hey, I transformed. I have no life left. I got to make it this turn. And then your rival's just sitting back and like, cool, I've got 5 in hand and my board's up. And you're like, well, I can commit 2. But now, granted, your board probably does things. Your attack should also do things. But I think that adding the 1 speed is a nice touch. And also it gives him a way to like remove his stuff. So like if he did build into deadlock, you can now debuild yourself out of deadlock. Like I like those sort of things. So that was cool to see.
I think it is interesting that he's got that deadlock or 10 or less health, but it reminds me a lot of old universes, UFS, whatever, with like desperation game plans, playing against Scorpion and being like, I'm not putting you below 20 because I just don't want this to happen. But like, he doesn't even get the option. He can't go into his second form mid-turn, at least as far as I can see based on his kit. Like he has to do it at the beginning of his turn. So he is much more limited
unless you
in that
use
fact.
Measured Violence.
Oh, okay. Which one's Measured Violence?
That's the twice card that can build a character from your card pool.
Got it.
So you
nice.
can play Fat Gum 2 on a 6 and then.
Okay, so really tricky Fat Gums are playing.
Alpha good, yeah.
Yeah, they're playing good. That's neat.
That's hilarious. I didn't even thought of that.
Oh man, my brain hurts.
Yeah, so trying not to. We said we don't want to like highlight literally every single card. So I'm just want to call it the one card I want to call it from this kit is Surprise Interception. So the 1/5 spam with the +1 mid block on it. That if you block a jolt or something that's going to go to momentum, you get to commit a foundation.
Oh yeah, that card's cool.
That card's pretty neat.
It's like a mini Faith Shield kind of. Like momentum denial is such an important part. Momentum denial may be the most important of Faith Shield. Like Faith Shield does everything, but like the momentum denial portion, especially with so many good uses for it now, like that is such an important part of that card. So just to have something like that, and like you said, with Electric Jolt or Craft Lift or anything that's just like guaranteed.
It has such a sick block on it too for no random reason. I'm just
+1. What's all it does is defense, right?
And the card does nothing else, right?
Besides block. And that's what I was going to highlight because Tim, I agree. Like I think this is a really cool card, but I think like when you look at his kit, if you're just general observer, it's really easy to look past this card and be like, why would I ever play this? Like this does not seem that good. But like in actual play, denying someone a key momentum, like with this, you don't have to complete block either, right? So you can mid block some high or low attack and just deny them that momentum. You got to tap an extra foundation, but it's a +1 mid block, whatever. I agree. I think that's a cool card.
My call out is because I'm a boomer is Calorie Counter because it reminds me of one of my favorite cards in old UFS, which was Kikusho. So I know we have Kikusho at home is what the kids are calling it nowadays, but in Rappa it's amazing because it makes them have really bad decisions. Because are you going to block it? Because you're going to give me stuff. Because if you don't block it, I'm going to play it again. But yes. That's my Rappa thing for it. So go ahead, Keenan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like the flip on that card. I mean, Kikisho obviously very good, very playable card. I think like Ready Your Foundation, something like that.
Ready to Foundation.
It did all the other stuff. Yeah.
It did. Yeah. So it was from Card Pool, I think.
It was from Card Pool.
Yeah, very strong. Yeah. I mean, but this still like puts shields down, like selective flip inside of these symbols, which already have so much selective flip. Like you can get to a point where like in a late game situation your opponent doesn't have a stage and your stage is fully live, that kind of thing. So it's a really neat, like you can use it offensively but it will give you advantages in the late game, which is really cool. But yeah, I mean I like BMI Buster because I like anything that has Breaker 2 on it. But yeah, that's only background.
That card's really good too.
Yeah, and just canceling action cards willy-nilly in a metagame where everybody's talking about Jiro and All Might and all that, and it's like, all right, cool, well I'll just put this in my card pool and
they're like
figure out a way to put it in the card pool and get rid of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's pretty sweet. If I were going to pick one, I'd actually go with Bad Guy Roundup. I think this card is just great utility. I mean, +2 high block on it, 3 low for 4, and then after you play it, your rival discards some momentum. That's been good since set 1 when it was on the Aoyama attack.
Still playing Instant Shining Flash.
Instant Shining Flash, that card's still good.
That card.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at this card and you look at the 1/5 Foundation Tim was talking about, and you're like, do you get to have momentum against Fat Gun? Like,
nope,
or
you don't.
Anybody on these symbols, really?
Yeah.
That's a really strong thing.
Not if they don't want you to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it also just goes and draws a card for free most of the time because it says if you have more ready foundations than your rival, draw a card.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it just replaces itself and can pitch a momentum on offense or on defense. Like, this card's just cool. Like, I'm going to limo slam this in.
The only thing this card is missing is punch, and it'd be perfect. It's just missing punch. All it's missing. Just missing punch, baby.
All right. Anything that we didn't talk about from Fat Gum that you guys wanted to highlight?
Oh, one thing.
Here we go.
No. On the throw on Fat Grapple, there's a maximum cap of 7.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Church about that, and he was like, that's something they're looking to do going forward, is adding caps to things now. Like a max of 5 or a max of 7, or whatever, They're looking to have damage caps when in a game where
they're not going to be more and more indiscriminate shocks, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we're not going to get indiscriminate shocks and left and right is what.
And we're out there, Kevin Broberg flipping a table.
I think indiscriminate shock is like only a problem if your character can pump speed. Even then, like Worlds came and went, and no one was calling to ban Midnight. So like, I'm not worried about caps or no cap. I think it's good to have caps, but it's also good to recognize when it's time to take the caps off. Because there's a line where one side is fun and one side is balanced, and you got to be able to blur it a little bit, or it's just or you're not gonna have a fun game.
And if Fat Grapple one of those cards, if it doesn't have a cap, you're creating a situation,
Yeah,
it is on a throw, so
where he turtles the entire time.
Separate from the current meta.
Yeah.
Right. In theory, we're trying not to have, 4 or 6 attack decks be a thing.
Right.
Right. And if you could ostensibly play this thing that is a win the game throw if you could build 40 foundations or whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is a when to have a cap. This is a great. I hate an 8 damage throw. I played too much standard to like them anymore. So
that day has come and gone.
Yeah.
Vicious Madness can go die in a fire.
Yes, it can. If it can.
Please stop nightmaring me. I don't want to play this format anymore.
All right. So up next we have Kirishima 3, and this one's a pretty recent release. All right. Who wants to take the lead on this one? You want me to tell the character?
This is the best character. He's so freaking cool. I don't even have him pulled up. I'm just going to talk about him. This guy has 3 effects. It's like every 7 hand size boy's dream is having no damage on block on face. Like don't die to throws on face. He gets it. He gets a blow up foundations gimmick on symbols like Earth, which just has infinite foundations if it wants to have it. Harden Jab Enhance. I don't have any face zones. Well, here's a free one. I've got male bonding. Let's just build a bunch of cards. It can't be fixed. Me, please. I'll blow your cards up and leave my cards. And then
back alley.
We also get seizing the advantage because he's a 7-hander, so we can play actions even easier.
Yeah. And then his other ability is just, it's Cero's you can't partial block my attacks, but it's not that I'm going to draw cards. It's that mathematically you shouldn't block my attacks. It doesn't make any partial block my attacks. It actually doesn't make sense to partial anything that I throw. That's crazy.
Yeah. Anything like 5 or less damage, right? Like it's just not worth it.
Yeah. Even 6 or even like 8 damage. What, you're gonna partial block a
take 4, burn 2.
Take 6.
Yeah.
You take 5. You take 5. You take 5. The attack gets plus 2 damage, so you take 1 more.
Oh, okay. Either way, like
he does not burn for 2.
Oh, he does burn for 2. I thought. Am I wrong?
It says if your fury or punch attack is partially blocked, your rival loses 2 health.
Overhaul? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, they burn for 2.
Really
overhaul does the 1.
I have never wanted to partial block a man's attacks less. Like, unless my card has like ranker 3 and put 3 cards in your card pool, I'm just gonna take it to the face, and that's gonna feel really bad.
Yeah.
Especially if he gets to play Villainous Waylay and like think fast, and like maybe there's a version of that deck that's just trying to like rezone things into inconvenient places, and your opponent's just gonna take everything to the face.
Yeah, I mean,
you could snipe whatever block you want out of their hand, and then you can just start. Well, I'm gonna start changing to the zone that you have off zone block.
Exactly, and then how are you blocking anything that turn? Really, like realistically, I don't know. That character's crazy, and his cards are crazy. He's got that like 3-low-4 flash move that's destroy a foundation, destroy 2 of your opponent's face downs when it hits. Like
Red Gauntlet.
I'm not a big fan of this like foundation denial stuff, because genuinely it feels like when I go second I can't really play the game, but he gets to be a good 7-hand size character on top of that, and I think that's super crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like,
let's talk about him a little bit.
I think that if I were going to point to a card, I think Unbreakable, his 3 difficulty foundation, this card is way cool. I don't know how good or bad it's going to be, and I feel like it's going to be pretty good, especially in the decks. Like, the decks that it's good in, it's really good in, right? Like, it's a 3/5 plus 2 high static. This card cannot be destroyed or removed due to rival effects. Okay. So mirror matchup, he's like, good luck. And they're like, yeah, you too, buddy. Good luck. But then its response once per turn, discard a momentum. After your rival plays a non-character ability that destroys, flips, or removes a card in your stage, cancel it. Yes, please. I'm already sold. I want this card in my life. And then it does more things, because why wouldn't it? Like, enhance, commit, destroy foundation. If you block this attack, it's considered completely blocked. So more of his character ability. Like, I like this card. This card seems way good.
It's not even his character ability. It's like wall cling, because it's considered completely blocked. It's crazy.
And it doesn't flip, and it's not unique.
Yeah.
And it can't be destroyed or flipped.
Also, I found out that if you put this in your momentum face up somehow, your rival cannot capture evildoers it.
Because it can't be removed.
Because it can't be removed.
Awesome.
Yeah, for some random reason.
Good luck figuring that.
That by rival effects either. Like if there's an ability that does that, it just cancels it on.
It's kind of weird. Right? Like if they want to, I don't know, if they stack your deck, I guess that would be different, because is it considered removing or leaving? Then, if they take stuff out of your discard pile and put it on top of your deck.
It's just leaving the zone and going.
Okay, so then
remove is shorthand for remove from the game, which
that's true.
It's not ideal, because it's very ambiguous, but
right.
Yeah. What about you, Tim? What card do you like the most?
I'm looking forward to Red Counter.
Yeah.
The card's thick.
I like my poke and block games, and this is a poke and block card. Right, you play it. It's they probably feel like they have to block it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and so if you can, you need to build your deck around it, right? You need to have a threatening high zone follow-up that they're going to be worried about after this, right?
And it's a punch, so you get to play Texas Smash.
Yeah, it's a 5/5. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and even further, like, to your point, like, what's cool about this is, that response in the card pool to clear it, right? So, like, if you can block with it on their turn, or if it just hits and it sits using its other ability, right? Then it gives you the ability that the damage can't be modified, right? So that True Form All Might deck, if they don't block this and it sits there, they're like, what do I do now? Play a Detroit Smash to not buff its damage?
I mean, like, Future is Jiro, what? It's a thing.
Well, that Jiro stuff's going to get in ahead of that.
It all responds first.
Well,
but
that stuff's going to be faster.
It will, but the damage on the power pull from Home Run Comet doesn't. So, it'll
That's
still...
a different deck.
It's a different deck for sure.
Yeah, it can't Cannon Blast. Like, it can't commit out for the Cannon Blast buffs, but still, I agree with you, Tim. I think this card, again, it's an uncommon, so you wouldn't think, like, oh man, this card's going to be, like, wildly impactful. I think in the decks where you figure out and you build around this card, it's going to be very impactful. Because right now, the name of the game seems to be throw giant attacks at people, right? Like giant Indiscriminates, giant Summon Dark Shadows, giant Detroit Smashes, whatever. And this card's like, we're not playing that game anymore, guys. We're playing a new game.
just gonna have this in their card pool, and then block with Nitro Explosion. Want to attack me?
Yeah.
Please.
You don't get damage bonus, and I get a momentum.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Fury.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god! And then you just get to clear the Nitro out too, and you're like, all right, we're empty card pool.
Yep.
Clear card pool, can't lose.
The death build is coming together finally.
My call out is learning to harden. For one, having some sick ass art, but I'm also a big fan of speed hate and other things that attach to the speed hate, because it also gives you it's offensive and defensive, and plus you get a sick death response when it hits after you destroy it. You get to draw a card, which is always cool because it works with it makes Kirishima effectively an 8-hand size when he does that. And any other character, like Bakugo 1 gets. Oh yeah, there you What else? Like anything that plays brute strength, you get 2 damage with this, blow it up with brute strength, get another damage, draw a card. I like that. It gives Death some really nice card draw option because, outside of rushing stab, draw is kind of weak. Sometimes.
It has to be ready when you destroy it to trigger that response, right? Because it doesn't say response. Discard?
It's after it's destroyed.
It's definitely triggering in the transition
in the discard
zone,
pile.
I think it's in the
discard pile.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to reference discard pile anymore? Okay.
No. They got rid of that in set
Ages
1
ago.
with like Bakugo 1's
It was even before that. It was in,
was
in
it?
the Cowboy Bebop era
Okay.
somewhere. Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure because I agree. It's really good.
Because it was just really stupid having a bunch of cards like Templar or whatever where it says response card pool after you block with this. Well, where else are you going to play that response?
Yeah,
Right.
true.
Right,
Sure.
like you already know where this card has to be in order for this ability to make any sense at all. So there's. No
I'm
point
hoping
putting
this
these on
XR is full art because it's fucking sick.
You just want to see the
This
power
art is
stance?
cool. Dude, gotta get that power stance on, bro. I'm wearing the shirt for the boy. Come on, I'm wearing the shirt for the boy. Second hypest character in the set.
Second hypest, you say?
Behind Rappa, right?
Yeah, behind Rappa, man.
Behind Rappa.
Come on, it's like one of the best fights in the entire arc.
He loves both of them. He loves Fat Gum, and I guess if the Shield guy ends up being in the set, you're gonna love that guy too, because the best fight, right?
I love that guy too. The best fight it is. It's just it's my favorite fight out of the entire thing. Not gonna lie, Midoriya versus Overhaul was really cool.
Well,
but it wasn't like this though.
I don't know, man, because we're about to look at Midoriya, and I think he's pretty hype.
I mean, Midoriya is good.
Yeah, he's kind of all right. So yeah, Midoriya is a 5-hander this time. So that was one of the ones kind of teased before. It was Kirishima and Midoriya, right? Kirishima being a 7-hander and Midoriya being a 5-hander. They hadn't had this hand size before. So that was a pretty cool tease. And he's Jackie Briggs 2.0. He's locked behind different keywords. It's got to be Fury or Punch this time.
I called this art.
Yeah. It looks good.
A lot of people had this, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Midoriya do that's cool in that story?
Used, right? The only art they could have used. It really is.
I think this character, just like when Jackie hit the scene, is going to be nuts. Like she came in and immediately started making a splash, and didn't stop splashing. I feel like even when Standard kind of faded into the distance for a while, she was still a deck on people's radars.
I still have a Jackie Briggs deck together to this day. I have no other Standard deck built.
Yeah, point in case, and and I don't know. I mean, like that's cool. Like I don't traditionally play 5-handers, but this character's not a 5-hander. So like you build and play offensively, kind of like a 5-hander, but you can just empty your whole hand, and then on their turn you're just going to draw 3. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, he seems really cool. What cards do y'all like, love, hate from him?
I just want to say I love Rewind Throttle in any character that can draw more cards, especially All Might 3, because it gives us we're gonna touch more boards.
Yeah,
we're gonna touch
boards.
Like
those symbols, I feel like especially good in life have been kind of like they've been missing. Like
we've been running Lost in Thought,
right? But otherwise, like they've had very little ability to like touch your opponent's pieces. But I mean, this card it's a filter in a deck that doesn't draw cards. Otherwise, it's just good. Like it reminds me a lot of the old Jackie card that was also like 5 speed, 3 damage, discard a card, draw 1, but you also get a special effect on top of that. Like it's like you can tell that they took a lot of inspiration from Jackie's kit and reapplied it. And I think it fits because they've toned his powerful down a little bit. But I know a lot of the people talking about it's like, well, Jackie had 10 tech cards to play with.
Yeah,
Midoriya
she barely
has,
had any. Yeah.
like 5 sets of nearly
Punches,
like half support being punches and furies on those symbols. So yeah, he's still going to be a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, Throttle's a great card for sure.
Tim, what you like the most?
Worst thing is the block.
I'm kind of interested in Without Limits. It's kind of a neat card. Interesting how much play this sees. You get to. It's similar. It reminds me of Encouragement, which doesn't see a whole lot of play, where it's a response flip on dealing damage to get some passing power, but this is shaped a little bit differently. You get to trade a momentum for -3 on right now. Maybe tricky to use. Could see it in some focused attack decks, for instance.
Yeah.
There aren't too many cards in this kit that I'm like super excited about, honestly. Right? Rewind Flood was cool.
Yeah.
Rejuvenating Smash is very flashy, obviously, but.
Yeah.
Without Limits has more utility than Encouragement, I think, because
Encouragement
fits in a deck, and it's really trying to like you hit your first one.
You have to be doing a string,
and that way you get to have a clear card pool. Like if you hit it as your 4th card, it's like, all right, well this sucks. But Without Limits, it's any time in this string, if something hits you, it's going to be very bad. And to your point, like focus attack, like large, high difficulty finishers, this slots in so much better for that. It's interesting because like when I'm deck building, like trying to scope for a metagame, especially that's very aggressive, I'm looking at a lot of defensive pieces, so I don't leave a lot of room for like 1 or 2x little aggro foundations that I can throw in there. I'm trying to make my attacks and character kind of get to that point. But like this is one that I would actually really, really think hard about. The momentum cost is steep, sure, but -3 difficulty on like a 5-card card pool is such a boon that it's probably worth it.
Well, and
it's like a cheaper Capture Evildoers in a way, right? Just because you don't have to make a check to play the action.
Yeah, you don't have to have it in your hand.
And right,
it's not in your hand. It doesn't come up your hand. Like you could
technically Capture Evildoers.
Yeah, you're committed to pass a check.
Yeah. I think it's really. I think it's really good. I think it's going to see a lot of play, and in particular, like in the good punch lineup, there's ways to just get a momentum mid-turn, and like that changes things, right? Like they see this at the board and they're like, ugh, but then they're like, okay, well I've been blocking, it's all good, and you're like, well, Capture Evildoers is one way to do it, right? Velocity Punch is another way to do it.
Vision Flock into Friends of Animals.
Yeah, like you can do lots of things to just get that momentum instantly.
Yeah,
and with that, like I think. To your point, like I think that card's going to see a lot of play and be really good. It may not be like a 4x, like you're saying. It's probably like a 2 or a 3.
Because that just reminded me, Coda gets to play this off of 2 symbols, and this can make that, that giant whatever. If we get any cool
does
more
have
out,
Inferior Punch.
Yeah, it does. It does, unfortunately. So maybe we get some Ally Furier punches coming. Maybe come on,
Ally Fury Punch, all the keywords.
We want Coda to be good, boys. We want Coda to be good.
Bring back keyword soup. It was our favorite thing. Everybody loved it.
Everyone loved keyword soup. The rise of the now people will be crying for midnight bans. If we had keyword soup.
Yeah, keywords. Yeah.
Yep.
True that. So I think Rejuvenating Smash seems kind of cool. One, because I'm just glad to see some more Smash cards, because I currently have a Smash Might deck that I'm enjoying playing, so it gives me some more options there. But even further, the response to this thing, to your point about playing defensive, right? +1 mid block that has response after you play this card. If it's the second card you have played this turn, draw 2 cards and gain 2 health?
Yeah.
Okay.
Templar's back.
Yeah, Templar's back. It just has to be the second card you play. But it's a +1 mid block again.
You can block with it. Like it's very. I feel like it's unusual that an attack has a response that is playable on both players' turns. Like that's I feel like for the most part, what we've seen is attacks like this is a defensive response and this is an offense. This is both, and it's awesome for it. I love also any card that's going to get you snap momentum.
I was about to say, and I didn't even finish the card, right? Like then on offense, it's just if you've discarded a card, get a free momentum off the top of your deck. Sign me up. Yes, please.
That's one nature symbol already on card, so definitely one of the premier things. But I think in some podcasts, Eraserhead was brought up as an idea. Like, oh, sweet, this has got 6 speed, and I've got a momentum. What else can I do this turn? It's amazing.
Right. I think the only difficulty this card's going to run into is the fact that it's a 5 difficulty, and the good punch lineup is already pretty 5 difficulty tight. You know, like
your sacred cows.
Do what?
Get back alley haymaker out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Just go ahead, get it out of here. We don't want it no more.
But like a more metered good deck, like a Momo type, that's like, you know, not trying to slam back alley on 2 because it's the only thing you want to do for the entire game. Like, they can you know, justify a couple more 5 diffs that do to have some more techie things that they can do with it, and maybe get that momentum comboing off, doing something cool later.
Absolutely. Like, I love Midoriya too. So like in him, this is a 5 for 9 out the gate that then gets it free momentum that then gives it EX3. So it's what, an 8 for 9?
Yep,
that's pretty good.
Seems pretty all right to me.
It's not bad, and it refills his hand, which he definitely needs because that character is constantly trying to go handless every turn.
Yeah. So I'm looking to get the XRs of these for anyone who happens to pull one. I got a feeling it's going to look super sweet because that art's pretty dope.
I know a pretty good online store that will sell any that they manage to open.
I might be able to hook me up with something. I check that online store with some regularity. I'll tell you that.
Lifetime discount.
Yeah, that's right.
Lifetime discount. Yeah,
I've already maxed that one out.
Exactly.
Yeah. It makes it way more appealing. So next up, we actually have Nejire, and Tim, this is the character that you actually got to preview for everyone. So if you want to start off sharing it with us, your favorite card from her kit that you're most excited about. We've heard your thoughts on all, but I think 2 of the cards, right? Because they shared the 2 afterwards.
So I'll just talk about one of those 2, right?
Sure.
So, yeah, I'll talk about Surge. Surge is interesting. Surge is very weird.
That's a 2/5 foundation, right?
Yeah, it's a 2/5 +1 mid block foundation, +1 mid block. And the 2 kind of like scary abilities, right? So it has enhanced flip, your charge or rain gets EX2. And from as an older crew, we have all probably played against Dejanette and died to some random whatever move, just arbitrarily getting EX slapped on it, and like, oh wait, we can't block that. Wait, you mean he has EX? What do you mean Dejanette 2 has text?
Yeah, right.
What do you mean Surge's second ability is going to be like said on so many top tables?
Yeah, and then its other ability is commit for stun 1 and 1 speed for each attack your rivals blocked this turn. So this thing's sitting out there. If you've got a big enough haymaker in your deck, and if you're Nejire, all your attacks are haymakers.
Right.
Right, they're all +2 damage if you want them to be. Then, you know, the more they block, you know, not only are they dealing with progressive difficulty for blocking, but they're powering up your Surge.
Yeah, as soon as you get 2 of this down, like your opponent
blocking
is
gets really complicated.
Getting finished.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think that I registered that like you could get 2 of this down when I first saw it. I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool finisher, but like hey, like I like to block. I'm gonna block 3 times in a turn in almost any deck that I play.
He's like, I love Kamui Williams.
I love blocking.
2 copies, stun 2 +6 speed, and now I have to figure it out. Like that's terrible. And you can tack that on to like home run comet and shares 3 symbols.
Yes.
Yep. Jesus. Air Jiro gets to play this, and I know like I guess is home run's not arranged, is it?
Sure is.
No, it's a weapon charge.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's not?
Yeah, it's not range. It's weapon charge.
It's a charge. I'm mixing up with Meteor Shower.
It does tack on to Indiscriminate Shock 1.3.
Yeah.
Like there are ranged cards. We can make this card work on a finisher.
Oh god, this is nasty with Indiscriminate. Oh.
Yeah, it's very good.
Talking about Air Osprey the other day.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Also, he loves Indiscriminate Shock. Yeah, that's a really, really interesting card, Tim. Thank you for pointing that out, because like I didn't give it a second thought when I saw it, but yeah, no, this is actually terrifying.
Keenan read it, and he read the word unique on it. He was like, yeah, that's totally fine. It's not unique at all.
I don't have it.
It doesn't have it, yeah.
It doesn't have it.
It's not even there. I'm kind of excited to see another Echo attack. Like I thought Echo was going to make a little bit bigger of a splash. I know it's shown up in a few decks, but like it's not been as prevalent as some other things have, right? Using your momentum right now, which is kind of interesting because, you know, it kind of lets you fluff your attack count just by having other attacks hit or artificially getting that momentum. So Spiral Blast being a 3 high for 5 with Echo on it, you know, I mean, it gains you 2 health, and if you're at max health, it gets +2 damage. So then it's like a 3 high for 7. So he's pretty cool. I mean, like
I love
you just
if you're at max health part of her gimmick too, because reducing your maximum health, like Imagine playing Nejire and having to track 2 separate numbers for your character the entire game.
Oh my god!
Right.
Like, she gets to play like if you were at max health ability. There's a old character from King of Fighters called Yuri, and she had a bunch of like if you're at max health, do X, Y, or Z, and it's like, all right, cool, this is great up until a point where I'm now in problems, and now these abilities don't do anything. Well, Nejire, if she can spam that enhance enough, she's at max health the whole game, no matter if she's at 19 or 1. So like,
and she's just going to gain a ton of health. Like if this attack gains you 4 health, and then she plays some foundations afterwards, she's like, all right, cool, I just gained 6 health this turn. Whatevs.
Yeah, she's got a good long game to her. She's just
the deadlock enhance is crazy too, by the way. Even though it's a deadlock enhance, they're all deadlock enhances. They're usually kind of crazy, but that thing is kind of neat. I like that. You're gonna die. If it gets pulled off, you're gonna die.
Chris or Keenan, any cards in hers that stand out to you that you're excited for?
Sorry, I'm reading real quick.
I like Levitate a lot because I like to block, and I like how Levitate gets your block for you. And then if you play like off of Chaos, you have like the All for One card that says if you block with a foundation, you get +3 to your block. So it's a kind of a neat little combo-y piece off of like Chaos for some characters that gets to do some things. But you don't want to block stuff if you're against Surge decks because you're probably gonna die. So
she gets to block, but you don't get to block. That's the trick.
Yeah, that's the thing. But if everyone's playing Surge, nobody gets to block. My head hurts. Oh.
I don't know if we'll quite see everybody playing Surge. But
I know, but it's just like one of those. My head hurts. Yeah, but I really like Levitate because I love artificially getting cards into my hand in the middle of the turn, even though it is a foundation. But it's like a snap block that you can use, or maybe you need to get you can also do it like if you say you're playing Chaos and you have One with Nature and you're like, well, I wish I had 1 card to use so I could just pitch with One with Nature, and you're like, I don't need this momentum for some random reason, so I might as well just go find a card I can use to pitch for One with Nature. Yeah. Like it's not terrible. It's not bad.
I think the fact that ability isn't a flip or a destroy, it's just pitch momentum to then go and get a foundation. That's really cool. It'll also play really well into any character that wants to have a lot of cards in their discard pile, right? And there's a few of those floating around now. So I don't know, could be cool.
So just to throw like I said, reading her cards, found one that I thought was interesting, and it's definitely like not the best card ever, but Ryukyu Agency Trainees. After your attack is blocked, build the next foundation you play this turn. I played a lot of Ojiro at the HLC. Missouri Smash is an awesome card, especially because you don't have to like necessarily commit anything to play it. Like this, obviously, it commits itself. Then you get to play your foundation and build it down or whatever. But like, there's so much re-ready on these symbols, requesting assistance, some with style. The list definitely goes on. So you can turn 1 foundation into 2 foundations. It's good against Breaker. It's good against things like, I guess learning the standards attack has to be unblocked. But there's so many times at which you need to like take a second and like give yourself some more support in some way, shape, or form, or find the extra damage, find the extra whatever, and it turns your foundations in your hand into pseudo actions that get to like get to play this turn at the cost of committing one. So I think.
By the way, I do have a Surge.
Yeah, got him.
Oopsies.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, it's got Ally on it, so we in the money.
Yes.
It's got Chaos
and back Alley Birdmaker, boys.
We can UA high for a low block without having to play awkward actions and 6 diff attacks.
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Yeah, and like Missouri Smash, it's just the next foundation you play. That doesn't have to be your next card, right? So if they are queuing up a learning the standards, but they block your first attack, well,
sweet.
So much for your learning the standards.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to play this foundation, I'm going to clear it, and then I'm going to keep on trucking.
Nice one, nerd.
Yeah. So we only got a couple more characters to talk about. Toya Setsono. He's the thief guy, the guy who just like snatches and can pull anything to his hands or something. I think it's his actual quirk or something like that. He's kind of neat. He's a small set character. He's only got, I think, 3 cards. Him, his attack, and a foundation, I think, right?
Yeah.
So not as much to talk about. It's kind of like Chronostasis, but I thought what was cool about him is that they're bringing back kind of like the Ash archetype that they had way back where you can go and select an attack in your rival's discard pile and basically play a card as a copy of it. Just for our audio listeners, what he does is he's form, Once per turn, commit 1 foundation. Choose 1 attack in your Rebel's discard pile. As your next form, play the top card of your deck face down as a copy of the chosen attack.
What's really weird is that it doesn't have the it gains your symbols thing like they did in the old game. That's kind of odd. It doesn't need it, I know. Yeah, because it's face down.
So, like, it's just cool because basically he gets to play every turn kind of like a 7-hander and just poke with whatever their best attack is every turn, right? Like,
yeah. He's an interesting between Rando, which was like really high power level defining character with this form ability, and Ash, who was like practically unplayed, even though their other ability wasn't that bad. He's like a nice, I think in this metagame, middle ground between the two of them. Like he's not going to be crazy, but he's not going to be like terrible either. He's going to kind of fit in the middle somewhere.
Right.
In the chat group, this I'm in with Phil Birch. Phil, we saw that character and he goes, "Fuck that guy." He got beat by Nando playing Ash against his base, I think, at Nats or at Worlds, because he got to play Slaughterhouse every turn. But Phil had to literally draw his Slaughterhouses. Nando just got to go, well, I'm going to play the Slaughterhouse. I'm just going to play your Slaughterhouse.
What if Slaughterhouse was back alley? What if your niche 2 damage to everything card that nobody plays was actually the card that everybody plays has stun
he gets to play back alley against you every turn. It's hilarious, right? So it's just great. Yeah. So it's funny.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the kind of character that someone's going to put a lot of time into because they're just going to love this idea, and they're going to like no 2 games are going to play the same, right? Which is what's kind of cool. Like you're going to get to kind of like dealer's choice, pick out whatever you think is best for the given board state and the point in time that you're in the game. But it is worth pointing out he doesn't get momentum off of this. Like face down cards aren't going to add to your momentum. So even if you target, they do.
Sure will. It's an attack.
What? It doesn't lose that feature once it moves forward.
Face downs too.
He gets free momentum. He's just like, I play your throw and gets free momentum every time.
Man, he can't play Carpool to work, can he? There's probably a card though that, like the new Karishima card, that like is it doesn't matter. There's got to be something where it's going to be like this is important.
Well, if you take one of those cards and you somehow the card off the top of your deck randomly has a face up momentum ability and you copy an Electric Jolt.
But like it's never face up, right? Like you don't get to look at it.
Well, Electric Jolt has a static that says it goes to momentum face up.
Right.
But you would turn it face up when it goes in your momentum.
Yeah, so because it's a copy of Jolt, it has that static when it adds your... Yeah,
you have to stack the thing on top of your deck in the first place because the card you're making for the copy is off your deck.
That's very weird that the copy...
That's a lot of work to not get anything.
Right.
A relatively small outcome, right?
Yeah.
Well, but
that's really weird. I never knew that face down copies go to momentum. I don't know where.
Well, attacks that deal damage at the end of the turn go to momentum.
Right.
Yeah, so technically, it's
like multiple copies had to have a special rule that said that they couldn't.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Okay.
Oh man, so this dude's way better than I was giving him credit for.
I also like
he's really good. Yeah.
I also like the fact that if it's you copy a weapon attack, he randomly gets extra damage.
A little bit more damage. Yeah.
It's kind of neat. Yeah, it's kind of cool. He gets 2 and 1. It's kind of cool.
I don't feel like there's that many weapons like comparative to standard where they were everywhere because we had Soul Calibur, but like. Yeah. It's like, so many decks are Punch and Fury based. It's going to come up every once in a while, but for the most part, like +2 damage or +2 speed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, +2 speed.
Everything is still not bad. Like that's he is very respectable. He's a pseudo 7-hander with an attack with your opponent's best attack every turn. Like nothing about this character is going to be bad.
Yeah.
I think that his only limitation will probably be his actual symbol spread. Is support around him copying the best attack, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think Evil in this set is getting the final boost. It's going to turn into a real symbol. It's already top 8.
Yeah.
And like, that's with, like, characters that are abusing, like, the 1 or 2 cards that it gets to play. But, like, there's so much Evil coming out in this set, and all is already a real symbol.
Please, incredible design team, make Evil what it once was.
Oh, it's about to be. I think this is the set.
Matt.
Please let me play 7-hand size Evil all the way to top cuts from now until infinity. Amen.
I think somebody's Champion Foundation had a lot to do with the last time Evil was really good.
Oh.
Nah. My Champ Foundation was like that was after Evil's mega heyday when it was the summer of Evil.
Oh, it was after the mega heyday.
Yeah, where it was the only option. Yeah.
It was still a fun option. Like, and also Harnessing Chaos did a lot of the legwork on that.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. My foundation was just sort of a cherry on top.
Speaking of which, he gets to play this in the spirit of your foundation in Citywide Crisis. So that's kind of cool. So yeah.
So what do y'all think about his attack and foundation? Either one kind of jump out at you as kind of being awesome, kind of meh?
Real boring. Like,
I like
very basic.
I like larceny in that evil. I get to play attacks from other places type stuff because and it's also kind of pseudo hate against that. It's kind of lame, but
how often do you get to get that effect off though? Like, I guess Overhaul has a card that lets you do it if you are playing this character and also playing a card that get attacked. It's so niche and it's so little.
You want to be like Compress or Confession Guy. Shinnomoto.
Yeah, it's very late riser reminiscent from set 1, like where it's like if you played a combo ability, this enhanced step, get +1 damage. Like if you played this attack from somewhere else, get +1 or -1 damage, right?
It's way harder than late riser too. Like you can build a combo deck and all you have to do is make your attacks do that. But like
defensively, it's like hate on their own gimmick in a way. Still, because like if you're playing that type of package and someone else is kind of skirting into that package or whatever, you can be like, I get -1 damage.
Look, I'm
trying to give you said the cards were boring, man. I'm just trying to give a shout out.
This card against Overhaul, okay? I don't care that I'm getting -1 damage. I'm not playing -1 damage on random. Like it's a -1 damage effective once per turn in most cases. Until there's a character that's like literally windmilling cards off the top of their deck to like just like murder you just on like Luxac or something like that. This card, the enhance is so niche, and there are so many good spam in the game. Like a +2, like this should have been like probably a +1 block. At least like streamline the stats, then we can talk. But like I would rather play a 1/6 on any of these symbols from a starter deck than this effect.
Sure, I get you. I was just trying to say something about the cards. You said they were boring.
His attack, however,
they have barely any text on them. It's like one sentence that does one thing.
His attack, however, does seem pretty sweet. It's another utility type card, but him being able to like, I'm going to steal your best card, right? It's face down my card pool to then play this on a 5 to then make you discard a card, pitch a momentum, and then if you pitch a momentum, I get a momentum. It's doing a lot.
Okay, yeah. That's not bad. Second capture evildoers is not bad. I do like that effect.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
He's not super exciting. I think the character is probably the thing at this point I'm most excited about because I did not realize you heard it here in real time, ladies and gentlemen, where I got the ruling from Tim and realized that I was wrong and that this character was way better than I thought he was.
Maybe you should make a course about that.
Yeah, I know, right? You realize it was an intro course, man. It wasn't next level kind of complexity yet. Come on, I'm gonna have to get an adult for that.
You need to make a video about how to use your website. Genuinely,
I will. I'll make a tutorial video.
You need to do a website walkthrough just so that people know what they're getting into going there. Genuinely, I didn't know to click on course list until you told me to click on course list. And they're like, okay, this is really cool. What does it actually mean? So,
there's like a little paragraph that kind of loosely describes it on the front page, but you're not wrong. I should probably.
I'm not reading that. I'm not reading your paragraph.
I can't read. Reading is way too much work. I want pictures, bigger pictures.
I want pictures and videos, please.
All right, so we got one more character left to talk about, and that's.
We have two. Don't we have two? Oh no, we only have one. Because
only have one.
The other one. Yeah, because Sun Eater's kit's not on there. Okay.
Yeah. So we have you, Hoji, and.
This guy's cool.
Yeah, he's neat. He's a 5-hander, 29 health, so But first form, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. You may play 1 attack from your discard pile that shares 2 or more symbols with your character as your next form this turn. Remove it after it resolves. Enhance. If you have 10 or less health, your attack gets +1 speed and +2 damage. And then enhance, destroy a foundation. This attack gets -2 damage. I just want to, before we do anything else, I love the design space that they're doing between him and in the most recent Kirigiri 2, where it references matching certain numbers of symbols. That's something that started way back in the day, and it was really cool then. And it's just a neat gate to like have some more powerful effects, but to be able to keep the box of options small enough that it doesn't normally immediately mean the powerful effects are out of control, right? So I think that's really cool. What are you guys' thoughts on this character and his kit?
He gets tongue whip on demand.
Mm-hmm. Sure does.
Cool.
That's gross.
It removed itself, but yeah, it's still really cool. You play it as your. Wait.
It's your first form.
it's your first form, so you have to play it as your next form. So
it gives +1 speed to all of your attacks for the rest.
All your attacks,
and still comes in for what, like
5?
And if you're at 10 or less health, it's like a 5 low for 7.
And it clears itself, so you're playing on no progressive while your opponent has,
It clears itself.
Yeah, he makes the card remove.
I didn't read that part.
It removes after it resolves. So yeah, you just play this attack and boom, it's gone.
Well,
and you just
Keenan, that's to keep him from playing the same attack all the time, right?
Over and over again.
Doesn't the other guy get to do it who's just stealing his opponent's attacks? Like, I get you don't get to optimize it, but are people playing bad cards in their main boards? Like, be honest here.
Keenan, I mean, depends on what tables we're at. If you play down there with me, it's definitely happening sometimes.
There's a version of that other character where you like scrub out round 1 because you played against a bad deck that didn't have good attacks in it, and then you keep scrubbing out, and you just like your graph just goes so far down.
Your quirk is so terrible because you're just matched up into terrible things. Dude,
that can't happen with this character. That corner case does not exist with you.
Right.
You're right.
And just for the record, anyone who doesn't believe that's a thing has clearly never lost the first 2 rounds of a tournament and had to try to like rally and climb out because you just play against the most random shit. Like it is not meta, and your deck that you designed to battle against the meta is just struggling to eke out wins. Like all man,
all your attacks combo tech. Those cards, where did those even come from?
How did you just, oh man, yeah. I've been there. It's. I think we've. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I think that's cool, right?
It's the best Bacillo San Juan that has ever existed. Top of being an All Might 2, like full discard piles, free cards out of discard, can't lose. He's awesome. Like everything about this guy. And I don't even remember this fight genuinely. Like I definitely remember watching the series, but like this didn't like me at all.
Sun Eater fought the 3 dudes.
Yeah, Sun Eater beats him and the larceny guy, and then the guy who has a bag over his head.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
But like his quirk restored, his unique. That's just like if you've been playing like the game for more than 3 turns, you just get to take any attack that shares 3 symbols. And play it. That's crazy.
Right.
That's really awesome.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Form removed. Yes, I would like my Frigid Heatwave now.
Yeah. Well, it's got to share 3 symbols, right? I guess.
He's a good character.
Yeah.
We'll get Frigid Heatwave on demand.
That's true, right? Because he's milling himself for the extras.
Some Surging Crystal Darts.
Yeah. It's cool because this foundation plays different for every single character.
Yeah.
Because
you're right.
Find something that shares 3 symbols. So if the entire idea, you sit down in Ultra and you're building your deck and you're like, I want to find a way to play this specific attack more. You're like, okay, who does this share 3 symbols with? Like suddenly it's a totally different deck.
You're playing a whole new mini game of deck building.
Oh, exactly. So you're saying Asui 2 is going to be meta now because she can get Tongue Whip on demand all the time?
All the time. With this weird form effect. Yeah,
that's weird form effect. Yeah, Surging Crystal Darts is pretty sick. I like that. Tim mentioned that. That card's cool. I think all of his cards are kind of neat. I don't really. Maybe this is like the first 5-hander I venture into because I don't really play 5-handers traditionally. So, he has some pretty neat stuff. Like Human Garbage is kind of cool because it's named Human Garbage, and you remove a Human Garbage to ready the Human Garbage. So that's kind of neat.
You take out the trash.
Take out the trash. Yeah. I do my dad chores, take out the trash, ready this card. You know,
this guy feels like kind of what Sato 1 was or Sato 2 was trying to do with like the discard 2 draw 2. Like except for instead of getting to wait until the end of your turn, you get to pick any attack out of your discard pile, which is I would trade that a million times over because that card that I'm pulling up probably says draw a card on it if I'm trying to like get pokey with it or whatever. So yeah,
I want to call out Crystal Crash. I think Crystal Crash is going to see a surprising amount of play, as in, like, people are going to look at this and think it's fodder or whatever. I think it's going to show up in some decks. Because if you're playing the theme, then this is a 3 low 6 with a +1 high block. Just a role player, a zone mix-up. If they're playing things like Wall Cling or Tape to stop the zone mix-up, you get to stop that with this.
Oh, true.
It's a very, very nice, cheeky little... 3 low 6 stun 1 mix-up attack, and sometimes decks just need their fortif attacks to just have reasonable stats, right? And have good blocks, right?
Right. Oh, and it's kind of like you're saying, it's kind of a 4-speed then with the stun 1 as well.
Right.
So it's very deceptive. I like, you look at it because I was just looking through his cards and I read it and I was like, okay, like that top ability is gonna do some things. Like that's gonna help you close out some games. But it's just this enhanced step. But still, it's cool that he can just pull it up on command or do whatever else he needs to do. Like, I don't know. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is actually him. Just because, like you're describing, like the little mini game you get to play while trying to think about building this deck, right? Like all of his cards are fine. Like I don't, none of them immediately I'm just like, oh man, I'm in love with this card. It's so cool. Like I do like that Surging Crystal Darts has the check response. Like I just like seeing that explosion behind the check. That's just cool visually. And I like that design space as well. But I think he is actually probably my favorite card from his kit, just because he does a lot. And, as we were just talking about, like, how good that first form is. Like, draw 2, pitch 2. All right, cool. And then I'm going to get to just choose one and play it that matches 2 or more symbols. Like, all right. Oh, and it removes? Okay, even better. Like, you could do some weird stuff with, like, or maybe he even runs some of, like, Dobby 2 support, where it's like if you have more cards removed and you're just, like, slowly filtering and removing things that way and run some of that stuff. Like, I don't know. I haven't theory crafted him yet, but... just off the cuff, that stuff seems kind of neat. And having a new character that can kind of play into that stuff could be cool.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting. We're seeing a lot of characters in this set that have 3 effects. I feel like that's been pretty rare. Traditionally, characters with 3 effects are pretty strong. And in this set, what it feels like is you've got the one character defining ability. You've got one fairly basic offensive or defensive ability, and then you've got one ability that's contingent on you being at some level of health or having some amount of resources in some capacity, or your opponent doing that. So I'm definitely interested to see how that impacts things. This guy, again, 10 or less health. We're going to probably see another strategy where you're like, I'm not getting you below 12 because I don't want you to turn that enhance on when you start burning yourself and start, running me over. 1 speed and 2 damage for everything in a character that's going to filter 2 cards and get a free one is crazy.
Yep.
So yeah, this is he's gonna be strong. I think these 3 effects are all very powerful. Destroy 1 Foundation for -2 damage. He gets release on face, which is really cool. Like just
super self sack, right?
Super self. Yeah. Oh, is it damage? Oh, I thought it was
damage.
Okay. I think I read damage and then I said in my head it was like that's neat.
Yeah.
It's
still good though.
Ever, but he's never going to go into deadlock if he doesn't want to. So
right.
That's cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, guys, is there anything that we omitted? I'm sure, Chris. What do we need to know about Repa?
No, that's not. No, I noticed because back to Kirishima 3, I've been noticing I guess since the last set and maybe this. I don't know, maybe with Toga 2 or whatever, 7-handers are going to start. I think you're going to see this shift in the metagame a bit where 7-handers are going to be more prevalent. Like, I was having a conversation in my local Discord and they're like, well, Earth Kirishima 3 won't be able to block anything. And I'm like, well, Earth Kirishima 3 is a 7-hander and I get to build 5 million foundations and I don't care what your speed is. I'm just going to block everything anyways. And so I don't care. I can play all the Omni blocks in the world if you want to go that route or whatever. But 7-handers traditionally are more powerful because they get to play cool stuff actions that they get to hold actions for turn if they want, or they don't have to necessarily play every card or almost every card in their hand because they get to draw more cards and then traditionally play more cards. And then if they draw more cards in their kit or in their deck, then it's just oh my god. So yeah, so it's no one wants to play into an 8-hander. No one wants to play into a 9-hander going second or whatever. And that's why they were like the Asui comparisons. She was the first power 7-hander, I guess, of the game in a way, where it was just do you really want her to go second? You really don't want her to go first, but you also really don't want her to have 8 cards in hand. Same thing with Eraserhead 1. It was I never wanted to go first against Eraserhead 1 because he had 8 cards in hand. That sucked.
I gotta disagree with you there, Chris. I will always go first agast any character.
Well, I know, but I know. Traditionally,
hand size or not a hand size.
Traditionally, yes, but I'm saying the thought has crossed minds where it's just do I really want to give him an extra card to block with or whatever?
I'm a Keenan. I'm giving him that card all day. I'm building first. Let's go.
Well, I know. Well, what I'm saying is, I think the theme of the 7-handers getting a little more oomph behind them. I think we see that with Shigaraki 3. Kirishima 3, traditionally 7-handers usually more powerful, but whatever. Remains to be seen.
I think there's still a lot of offense in the game, and six-handers that can present good offense, can really stand a chance.
Sure.
I think they still need to continue to make very strong five-handers. I think if people were putting more time into Mineta, we'd probably be seeing him topping more. I think that Mineta caters to a very certain type of control player, but he's also ostensibly the worst character in MHA. So he's got two things going against him, which is one, he's a five-hander, and two, if you
nobody likes him. Yeah,
it's there is a small contingent of people who love that character, and that
Lenoco looking at you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lenoco, absolutely, first person I thought of. Kyle Wright, and then beyond that, you're not seeing a lot of people playing them. So I think that we have to keep running more five-handers. I don't want to see a metagame where we get to a place that standard had gotten to many times, and I think it maybe has evened out by now. It's been a while since I played the metagame, but I don't like one hand size dominating a format. I don't think that the extra card is really it helps everybody play turn two. So I think that's okay. I just to your point, if Kirishima turns out to be this unbreakable wall, because Earth set 3 Earth, sure, that symbol couldn't defend for anything, but we got out protect you now, and that card is just the best speed redux that has been printed on a one diff so far. I think that plus you can get a high value target, you have anti-stun everywhere, so you've got just everything you could possibly need to actually play defense. So I'm wary of this character, and I'm sick of them finding ways to just only print good Earth cards.
Yeah,
because they keep just generically all of Kirishima's cards are generically pretty darn good. Facing Danger is another piece of anti-stun that the symbol straight up didn't need, and a way better version of shock treatment. They just take any attack and put its damage to 5. That's so strong. I don't know. It's a bunch of crazy stuff, and it's all generically really good. Tim saying red counter is one of the best cards. That card's going to be played in decks that don't even care about Fury and Punches. It's got some of the best stats and one of the best blocks. So I think if we can find a way to make Earth characters that have a more niche effect, that are trying to do more specific things or have more specific costs on them, like we see with some other decks and other symbols sometimes, I think I think we can be okay. I am a little wary of this guy, but at the same time, he's Kirishima. And if you know anything about Jesco Games, they won't stop printing broken Kirishimas. And
they really do love that guy. I don't know who loves him, but they love him.
They pre-nerfed him, though. His abilities are only once per turn, so it's good. He's good. He's pre-nerfed.
There's a little bit of the ever hopeful, if you're playing against Kirishima 3 and you're a 7-hander, probably doesn't bother you that much aside from the partial block thing. But if you're a 5-hander, he might just ruin your day.
Yeah,
right.
True. The after you completely block his attack, 70 years of play throws just to get a little poke in.
Yeah.
Or electric jolt that. I think the response that second response is enough to define any character at this stage who's trying to play a defensive game plan. So I don't know. The Destroy One Foundation thing, I think that is tertiary to his character. I think that is the worst effect on his character, hands down. And that's just because of how variable it is. Because sometimes it's going to actually win you the game, but you don't need to have that go off to make him good. You can rest on those first 2 abilities, and if that character did not have that third effect, I would still play it. And that's kind of how crazy I think it is. And even then, I think that third ability is sort of the ability they put on to define the character, but not taking damage off of throws is such a strong effect, especially when you get to play Void and you get to rezone things with Tank.
He mid blocks a jolt. That jolt's not doing well.
And you get to mid block a jolt with all the best blocks in the game because they're all mids. I don't know. You get naval laser off 2 of those symbols.
Oh my gosh! You can break your 2 block people for days. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. This guy, I agree. I think he seems a little pushed. I'm interested to see how he impacts the meta, and that third response. I hate trying to build my entire deck around Foundation Denial and then get outbuilt, because
I think it's just a cherry on top.
It's a real cherry on top for sure.
Yeah, but he is what I liked about Kirishima 2 so much, is where it's I get that oh shit button. It's just cool, I got this, I can, your throws can
pass the check on his oh shit button, right?
Yeah, on his oh shit button, it was oh yeah.
The good news is that it's a response and not an enhance.
It's
so
really neat.
He only does it when he actually has successfully blocked. That's the good news for him. As opposed to if it was an enhanced, like a wall clean kind of thing, and then you just fail the blocking, you're like, well, that was a waste.
That sucked. Yeah.
But I think another thing that we're seeing a lot of pushed characters because the characters of the last few sets have been so lackluster comparative to set 1 that it's like we want to have players come. We want to have new challengers come in, and we want to see that like meta landscape really shift. Like, Fourth Kind was dominant back in like set 2, set 1 a little bit, and then I don't know if he was out in set 1. He was just set 2. I don't know what the number of that character is. Yeah, in set 2, Andrew Holder was playing. Like there were other people who were inspired, and people playing him, and he's seeing a resurgence again, and that's great. And it's good to see characters coming back out of the woodwork. But like we're not seeing a lot of set 4's characters. I played a couple games against Toga too, and I've really liked what I see from that character, but she's not topping anything, and so like. I think that's discouraging people from playing her, and maybe it's because she's a little bit less weak. Maybe it's because people are scared of one-checks, who's to say. But, I think they're trying to push the envelope a little bit.
They got to smell the coffee, man. They got to smell the
coffee. Yeah, but they got to bring people up to that level to, like, really start changing the landscape of our top cuts to sort of show, hey, there's more stuff we're putting out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of the, there's always some bandwagon energy there. There's some, like, known quantity, right? If somebody's looking for a good deck, there's going to be way more established Giro lists out there and way more established, other, set 1 character lists out there because they've been around for a while. And, even so, we've seen some Innsmouth, we've seen some Shigaraki 3. We're going to see Dabi 2 sooner or later.
Yeah, eventually. For sure. It's got to happen, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's also the Togas of the world, right? Where if this character can be good, it's going to take an awful ton of work, and your sample size and your opportunities for, Chris Smith goes to an event. He worked on Toga 2 a lot, but if he just feels like playing All Might at this event because he's more successful experience with that character, we're never going to see Chris Smith's version 20 Toga at an RLE. Right. Because the 5 people.
Oh man, I feel called out for Kansas City right
now. I mean, that's an example, right? There's only going to be so many good players that are really working on any given character, and they can always just like not play it at one of the 2 events they get to enter.
Right. Well, and you got to think also to Tim's point, like there's lots of really good players who have put in lots of time to build these really good decks that may not even be able to go to that event, right? Like even if they could go to it and instead of just not choosing it, they're just not able to go to that event for whatever reasons. And that was one thing that I think like having the more web online kind of events kind of got to highlight and solve that in some capacities. Like you got to see more decks, but at the same time, less than optimal format, and user experience, but was the necessary evil at the time. So I don't know. I mean, like I'm right there with you. Like I always just try to play whatever deck that I feel, to your point, like the most comfortable with. And a lot of times that's like a pet deck of some sort, right? Like, but that doesn't mean that it's the right decision if I was wanting to exclusively make top cuts and try to go the distance, right? So
this is a conversation that's happening on another podcast right now, talking through like, how the top of the meta game is so wishy-washy right now because for a bunch of different reasons, but a lot of it has to do with players who maybe it's just because we were living under the diversity rule for so long, but like we're not content like playing the best deck in the format all the time. We want to make our pet deck work. And I think I have a lot more passion when I'm playing a deck that I really put a lot of effort and energy into and played. And like when I lose, I feel those losses a lot more than I feel a loss like Uchiro 2, which is like a list that, I looked at, but I had looked at prior, Cody Jacobitz and Nathan James's version, and I said, okay, what are the best parts of this? And sort of tore it apart, and then Andrew Holder took it, and then it sort of turned into this whole thing. But like losing with that deck, I didn't feel that same level of passion because I hadn't poured my heart into it.
Right.
And the best part about this game is that it is a deck builder's game. Like if you are an innovator, or you think of yourself as an innovator, when you try to play a card game, you try to build decks, there's so many dark horse options because your 300 characters that exist all have 3 symbols on them, and that's 900 different variants just at the baseline before you start messing with attack types. Like it's such a flexible way that you get to play and build at the game. And so when it comes to like, hey, I got to go to a tournament, do I really want to show off this deck that everybody knows can win, or do I want to show off this work that I put in, this practice and knowledge and like innovation that I got to display and say, hey, look at this cool thing I made, and then maybe you're going to top and you might not win with it, but then everybody's like, oh my god, I gotta try out Matt Childress' cool whatever deck, you know?
Right, and because of the way this game is, even when it's something with as many answers to answers as like the True Form deck, or however many, the best future Giros manage to fit into their list. I've heard of some lists running To the Rescue, for instance, with back alley haymakers to answer stuff. Right? She can find ways to do things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in the crosshairs, that is a problem, right? And so something I used to say a lot, and it's been a little bit less true in MHA because of the smaller formats, but historically, just in the grand scheme of things, the number of times a deck that was like the known best deck, Public Enemy #1, won an event was very small. And part of that's obviously the diversity rule, but part is like, a lot of times these decks don't Swiss champ, right? It's not that they do not perform to the expected level a lot of the time. And especially with the meta as it is right now, when those decks aren't just like overwhelming force Ojiro 2 or whatever, and even that deck, had trouble at Kissimmee. Give or take, you can complain about the player pool playing the deck or whatever, but if you're in the crosshairs and you have obvious exposed joints, like these combo decks do, maybe they're good enough to overcome those, but like, am I going to go to an event and play at a deck that I'm not really going to enjoy to try to, out combo people, and if it works, then like, I didn't have fun, maybe I get a promo, and okay, cool, we can ban this now. And if it doesn't work, then like I wasted my weekend because I didn't have fun, and I just got blown out.
Yeah, I mean,
or am I gonna like take my shot with something I really like?
Yeah, and I definitely did both things over the course of year one, right? Like, so when I went to Kissimmee the first time, that's when I got to debut my Midnight deck or whatever. Or no, it was actually up at Columbus, but like I took it there, did all right, then just missed some top cuts, and then refined it some, took it down to Kissimmee, went the distance, ended up like 17 out of top 16 cut or something like that, right? But I got to play on stream a couple times. It was really fun. And I had a blast that whole weekend, even though I didn't make it in, right? And then there were other events where I'm like, hey, I'm just going to play Tokiyami because he's crazy good right now. Or, hey, I'm just going to play, what was the other one that I tried out? I never played Jiro. I played the Railgun Asui list, right, when I went to Gen Con.
Oh, yeah, Gen Con.
And like the deck literally just stalled. Like the final round, I was in a win-and-in situation, and David Pena and I were playing, and it just stalled. Like I've never stalled harder with any deck, and it was just like not happening today, man. And I was like, all right, cool. I guess my whole day was a waste. The biggest thing that I did was I feel like I at least contributed towards the results that then later got things addressed in that deck, right? Like, and that's a really, really, really small consolation prize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and mind you, if a deck has an overall, like if you say this deck has a 62.5% win rate against the field, that's probably a problem deck, right? If over a large population sample, that's the average win rate. That's kind of a problem, right? That means your record at an event is expected 5-3.
Yeah. A given match,
your expected result is you missed top cuts.
Right.
Yeah, you missed.
Right.
That's true.
So what we're saying here is play what you like, have fun playing the game. It's fine to play meta decks, but if you're going to play those top tier meta decks, make sure you actually like them and enjoy them, because that's what it's all about. You're going to have a lot more fun. You're going to do better, and you're going to be more relaxed. And that's what we're all about. So, guys, any other closing thoughts about set 5 or anything like that you want to share before we call it a night or a day? I don't know. Cool. Depends.
I'm really excited to buy boxes of this and feel like I'm getting a lot of value out of the cards that I'm getting, and not that I'm like.
We haven't seen a single secret rare.
We have not.
We haven't seen a single secret rare, but I'm really excited to feel like I'm getting value.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like these ultra rares are like, wow, these could be valuable ultra rares. We haven't seen secret rares, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If the secret rares are like some of these ultra rares, then
we're
really talking.
And there's 6 of them.
Yeah.
And they're 1 per box. Woo. Yeah, I'm all for it. All right. Well, fellas, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And
thank you.
Taking time out of your days to do this. So, hey guys, if you haven't done it yet, do all the algorithm things, like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you like Keenan, go and check out the website for the first time. It's universusacademy.org. It's linked in the description, so it's down there for you.
Don't forget to watch Tim's news blurbs when he does them on Satonis on YouTube.
And his incredibly educational PowerPoint,
yes.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, Tim, make more. please. They're so good. They're so
Oh,
good.
man, there's only so many ideas. I have to come up with more ideas.
Look, I'll tell you this.
We need the other part of the history of UFS universes. We got like the early game.
The part 2.
We need part 2 to that. We need
the Middle
That goes
Ages.
to the whole thing.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So
we need an extended version now.
Tim, I'll say this: I don't watch a whole lot of other MHA or UFS or Universes content. I do watch and enjoy your stuff. So thank you for putting that out there in the community. Everyone is better for it. So well done. And check him out. Follow him if you don't already. He also got to spoil all the Nedge Race cards. So if you want to hear more of his thoughts on those, you can check those out. If you haven't seen our video yet for Mr. Kendall Rapa, go check that out. Mr. Punchy. And guys, as always, we love you. We appreciate it. Have a good one, and we'll catch up with you later, guys.
See you in Kansas City. It'll be being posted.